that which is cosmic awareness is now available for the purpose of doing today's Rainbow Phoenix session. Please proceed.
Thank you. Today is May 1, 2014. Welcome awareness, and thank you so much for being with us for the Rainbow Phoenix session of May 1, 2014. Will Berlinghoff is the interpreter for your messages, Joan Mills, the questioner and energizer, and Lloyd Ard also as energizer. The law of love, the law of light, and the law of unity have been invoked. Is there an opening message or current event you wish to discuss prior to moving into the questions at this time, please? Thank you.
That this awareness does have an opening message for a general readership today. That this awareness would start by saying to one and all that it is time now to recognize certain truths that you hold within yourself, known to one and all at deep levels, but seldom actualized, seldom realized. That there is indeed a reason for this, and that reason is because humanity has long been subjugated to control and manipulation, to constant indoctrination and the shaping of beliefs and belief systems, and so that the normal result is that individuals and the society, humanity itself even, believes things that are not true, are sensed to be incorrect, but because of the depth of the propaganda that has so long been used on humanity, that has reached into such individual levels of the personality, that it is hard often to overcome certain attitudes and beliefs that one has been trained to accept as valid, as correct, as right. They are not valid, correct, or right. They are simply ways of viewing reality that have been accepted and that form a lattice of structure of beliefs that are held by the masses, by the collective of humanity itself. That it has often been stated by this awareness and other sources that great changes are underway. A new dawn is approaching. The new world is awaiting. That this process is very much underway, even if it is still so that the majority cannot see it, that many who wish it and have a sense of something deep and profound are still struggling to see results happening in their worlds around them, their personal world, their collective world. The fault is not that nothing is happening, for indeed much is underway, both at the surface levels as well as the inner levels. But what must be acknowledged now as one is moving forward in their own personal growth and evolution is the extent to which one has been brainwashed, has been indoctrinated into belief systems that are limited and restricted, that are indeed the chains of slavery that humanity has been taught to wear so well. At this time, this awareness would use an example. Imagine, if you will, yourself as a child, and that you are brought into a candy store, a place of delights and wishes that could be fulfilled, that you find yourself in this candy store surrounded by the many sweet treats that are contained therein, that you have the right to choose anything that you wish, that you have been given carte blanche authority and permission to choose what you wish. But you have entered this candy store, this wondrous store of delights, believing that you cannot simply have anything you wish. Indeed, when you enter into the store and you see the many delights and you wish to try this or that, you are told that you cannot have those treats. They are for others, and therefore all that you can do is drool over the treats, finally settling upon a simple lollipop, a small treat, when there is such an abundance of sweet treats around you. That this is the indoctrination, that you are in the candy store, and that you can take anything you wish. Treat yourself to any of the sweet delights that are there in the candy store. But the indoctrination has taught you that you do not deserve anything. You can look, but you cannot touch. You may settle for the lollipop, the simple sucker that has a sweet taste, but is simple by comparison to the many treats that are in the candy store. Imagine, if you will, that you are in the candy store of spirit, that spirit offers anything and everything, and that it is your right to choose the treats that are there. You are, after all, a creator being. You are of spirit, and as spiritual ones, you have access to the highest heights of possibility, for all is available to spirit. What is also available to spirit is the right to choose or not choose, and that it is only one's limited belief system, the structure of their beliefs, that indeed holds one back from indulging in the treats. That this example, of course, has a certain danger to it, for the sweet treats can also be harmful, in that if one overindulges in all that is contained within the store, one may well come away with a very upset stomach, may overdo the sweets. Therefore, it is not simply that you are to go into the sweet store and pig out, taking anything and everything and stuffing it all down one's throat. But at the same time, you are not prohibited from doing so if that is part of the journey and part of the lesson. The deeper instinct is, rather than overindulging, to take what is needed and to understand you have the right to have treats in your life, to have sweetness in your life. That a natural understanding based on one's spiritual awareness will see that it is always so, that one is always in the candy store, and therefore there is no need to pig out. There is no need to overindulge to the point of illness, to the point of becoming sick, when the treats are always available. That it is the limitation of belief that one is entitled to sweets, the indoctrination, the brainwashing that humanity has endured for so long, that causes the situation that one thinks they do not have the right for the abundance that is around them. They cannot choose anything but the simplest treat, and for many this simple treat is enough. But this is because they do not feel worthy to have something better, to change their circumstances. Spirit is indeed like the candy store, in that it is a place of wonder and treats and abundance. It is a place that anyone can go into, any child can go into, and receive freely the treats of spirit. But when the child does not feel it has the right to receive, then being in such a store will be a misery. For instead of having something that they enjoy, they will look at the situation as all that which they cannot have, that is denied them, that they are restricted from receiving. Therefore, this can create a situation where one is in the store, but is truly upset to be there, for it is as if this is but a torment to them. So much to have, and yet nothing is given, nothing is received, for they are not allowed, the individual is not allowed to have such treats. That is why it is so important to recognize that spirit is abundance, that spirit does not limit the experience, nor does it limit the gifts that are available, the opportunities that one can engage in and take part in. It is the individual themselves, you, each of you, that limits what you can receive. That this is the indoctrination, this is the brainwashing of humanity and of the collective mind. But this is beginning to change. There is that fear also that if one gets too much of a good thing, that it will prove detrimental. Added to this is also the belief that one is not entitled to receive good things, to receive treats. This is governed by the very common phrase that if it is too good to be true, it probably is not. Therefore, even in those situations where one knows that there are good things and they seem to be happening, a self-sabotage process often occurs, and that which is a good thing, a treat, is rejected or turned sour. That this too is part of the indoctrination and socialization conditioning that occurs to humanity. And yet now many are beginning to understand, perhaps for the first time ever, what a wonderful shop they are in, how the opportunities are there for the taking. But what must of course occur is the examination of one's own limiting beliefs. Why it is so they may feel they are not entitled to the abundance that is all around them, to the sweet treats that they can receive, the delights that are there for them to experience. That this is a crucial time to understand that being in the sweet shop does not mean you are there simply to suffer, does not mean you are unentitled to the many treats that are there available, but it does also include a responsibility to realize and learn that one does not simply then overindulge, does not sour the fruit or the sweets by their beliefs and expectations. This is part of that which this awareness would call the process of spiritual evolution. That because spirit is eternal, and because the soul can have experiences in the physical many times over, that there is that passage of lives that will teach the lessons the hard way, using the analogy of the sweet shop and the child in the sweet shop. It may be that a child must overindulge so that it begins to understand what will occur when one overindulges or turns to the wrong substance. That there is no judgment here, that if this does occur, it is simple enough that it is a lesson for the soul through the focus personality. But with many lifetimes, or with many visits to the candy store, one begins to learn that one does not need to simply grab all the treats and stuff them down one's throat. One can become a connoisseur of sweetness, can truly pick and choose, satisfying their desires, satisfying their needs for sweetness, knowing that the sweets are always there, the treats are always available. It is simple enough. One simply needs to choose to receive, needs to let go of the reservations against having sweet things, treats, miracles, and magic in one's life. That there is a favorite joke that the interpreter has, that he enjoys, a joke that is also pertinent at this time, and this awareness will attempt and endeavor to deliver this joke now. It is a joke of two young boys, both 8 years of age, Tommy and Jimmy, that they are part of an experiment that a psychologist is running. The experiment is to determine the difference between an optimistic individual or optimistic child and a pessimistic child. Tommy is the optimistic 8-year-old, and Jimmy is the pessimistic 8-year-old. That the psychologist takes Jimmy first into a room. In this room are all manners of delights that would entertain a child of 8 years old, that would be a haven and heaven of sweetness and wonder. There are treats galore for the child. There are toys. There are many different games, video games, computer games. And Jimmy is told by the psychologist that he is free to play with anything, eat anything for 1 hour. It is his right to simply have fun. Then he is left on his own, and the psychologist then takes Tommy, the optimist, into another room, a huge room, a hall, and in the middle is a huge pile of horse manure that the psychologist gives Tommy a pitchfork and says, "Have fun," and walks out. It is also so that he will be in this room for 1 hour. After an hour passes, the psychologist goes back to the first room where little Jimmy is. There, in the middle of the room, sits Jimmy, crying and miserable. No treats have been eaten, no drinks drunk, no toys played with. Instead, for 1 hour, the child was in absolute misery. When the psychologist asks Jimmy why he has not played with anything, not eaten anything, not had fun, Jimmy complains to the psychologist that he is a bad person. How dare he put Jimmy in a room where he might break the toys, might overeat the sweets and become sick, and generally that he is unhappy with the psychologist for treating him so. This child most definitely was of a most pessimistic nature, assuming that if he engaged at all, something bad would happen, and that those who brought such opportunity to him, in this case the psychologist, were bad people, was a bad person for doing such a terrible thing, tempting and tormenting him so. This surprised the psychologist somewhat, and he wondered what he would perceive when he went to the other room where Tommy had been given a pitchfork. He proceeded to the other room, opened the door, and walked in. There was Tommy, singing and whistling, shoveling the horse maneuver, digging deeply into the pile, very happy and satisfied. This amazed the psychologist, and he could not help but say to Tommy, "Tommy, why are you so happy? I gave you a pitchfork to shovel the horse manure, and here you are, singing and smiling and happy indeed." Tommy turned to the psychologist and said, "Doctor, that in this pile of horse manure there must be a pony somewhere." That this conveys an attitude that is very relevant and very important in these times. There are many treats available. There are many opportunities available. But if one holds to limiting belief systems, they will be constrained and held back, that they will not see the true opportunities and the right to use those opportunities that is granted. Instead, they will take that which is a wonderful situation and pervert it, constrict and limit it, and be miserable doing so. Then there is the situation that it may appear that one is truly in the manure, that one is in difficulties, and it is an attitude that is needed to shift things, to view things differently, to understand the opportunity and the great potential that comes with adversity and hardship. That even if it does not seem that things are of a benefit or could work out, the attitude one holds is of greatest importance, that somewhere in the pile there must be a pony. Somewhere in the gray clouds there must be a silver lining. This is indeed so. And therefore, when next you are in a situation in your lives where there is great challenge, look deeper, look for the opportunity and the gift that is contained within the challenge. Equally, when you are in a good space and all is going well, do not question and do not disbelieve that it is right, that it is so, that you, the individual, have every right to enjoy and to sample the great abundance that is there around you. You will know how to use this abundance when you agree to it, when you open to it, when you welcome it into your life. And when those opportunities that are so available do not pan out or work out, then you have the opportunity to learn the lesson behind why this might be so. Life itself is opportunity. Spirit is the presence of great opportunity always. Spirit does not limit, you do. Therefore, when you are limited in that which you are experiencing, when you sense something deeper and yet cannot quite come to believe that it could be so, ask yourselves always, why is this so? Why do I believe this? Why do I find it hard to accept that which is the abundance that surrounds me? Why do I limit myself so? This becomes an opportunity to dig deeply into one's own belief systems and to see where they themselves are limiting themselves in the acceptance of life itself and all that it offers. These times are such that great energy is now coming through, the energy of spirit, to break the molds, to understand that one is in the most wondrous of candy stores, of opportunities in life, to truly create what one wishes for, that one can step into this because it is now time to do so. The energies of spirit are truly underway here, are truly rolling into the human plane of experience, are truly filtering through the dense layers of separation from spirit itself to lead, to guide, and to show the way forward. It is, however, now up to each and every individual to realize that this is so, to realize they are in the candy store and it is a permanent situation, and that they can treat themselves because it is their right to do so. There need not be fear that it will all come amuck, that it will all come undone and collapse upon the individual. There is only the opportunity to learn and to grow if one wishes and if one is willing to do so. Know that this is the time now to begin to say yes to the positive and wondrous opportunities that humanity are starting to wake up to, that this starts always with you, the individual. Remember this and enjoy the candy store. That this completes this sweet opening message.